Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. Violence grips parts of Mexico as the cartel and the army clash.
We had messages upon messages yesterday of family and friends reaching out to make sure we're okay.
We hear from Northerners who are in the country. Plus, buses benched, bargaining begins.
We're not a bunch of greedy bus drivers here. We're just severely underfunded.
Dozens of drivers in the Nipissing and Parry Sound region are on strike. And diversifying the defense sector.
There's been a number of manufacturing industries that have contacted the city, certainly saying, how do we get involved?
North Bay launches a new project with help from the federal government.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Ian is off. The federal government says more than 26,000 Canadians are currently in Mexico during a historic time. Yesterday, the Mexican army killed the leader of a major drug cartel, which caused a violent reaction in the popular tourist area of Puerto Vallarta. CTV's Lydia Chubak spoke with some Northerners affected.
Sue and Jason Mason from Timmins are currently enjoying 30-degree weather in the Riviera Mile. They're in Akumal, about a 90-minute drive from Cancun and hundreds of kilometers away from the violent incidents that have erupted in Puerto Vallarta. But when the rest of the world learned about the death of Mexico's most wanted man, a notorious cartel leader, Mason's family expressed concern.
We had messages upon messages yesterday of family and friends reaching out to make sure we're okay. We've been tagged in a lot of the alerts. So the first thing we did was we registered with the Government of Canada for Canadians abroad, so that they know we're here if something happens.
The Masons say they also met with their Air Canada representative in the resort's lobby.
She reassured us this is a norm for down here.
And they're used to dealing with
and that we are perfectly safe, especially if you stay on resort. We did have a adventure booked for today, but we decided to delay that a couple days.
Another Timmins couple is currently vacationing in Mazatlan.
We're 4 hours north of Puerto Vallarta. I have a friend who goes there every year, and I was talking to him via Facebook yesterday, and he says he's never seen anything like it in the 20 years he's been going there. The other side of that coin is I think that a little bit of it is hype in the media.
Holt says at this time everything is normal and calm where he is.
The one thing I did notice in the last couple of days leading up to the events in Puerto Vallarta is that there was an increase, in my mind, an increased presence of military and police on the streets. They patrol with basically F-150s and 50 caliber machine guns mounted on the back, which is kind of weird for a Canadian to see on the streets. But everything's been very normal.
The Government of Canada provides advice to travellers on its website, travel.gc.ca, and also advises them to add their names to the registration of Canadians abroad. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
In the Nipissing and Parry Sound region, bus drivers did not get behind the wheel this morning as part of the negotiations between Alouette Bus Line and its drivers. CTV's Madison Merrier reports.
Around 80 bus drivers are on strike this afternoon after 79% of drivers rejected the Alouette Bus Line's offer of a wage increase they say isn't fair. In a statement, Alouette Bus Line says the union representing its school bus drivers has elected to strike, rejecting the company's offer to increase wages by 15%.
Right now, these drivers are making $18.11 an hour, which is just above minimum wage. There's lots of other bus companies in the area that are making above $22, $23, even $25 an hour. So for the employer to offer the $2.69, it still falls below what everybody else is making and below the livable wage in the area.
This strike impacts nearly 2,000 students' school transportation, something neither party wants. In a previous letter, Alouette Bus Line claimed the union was using children as pawns in the negotiations. And in a statement sent out this afternoon, they added, it is regrettable that school children are impacted by labor negotiations.
We had advised the company that we would drive this morning, hold our vote. If it was determined to be a strike, we would withdraw our services like any other group that strikes. So for them to want us to continue to drive after a resounding no vote is frankly, unacceptable from us. And at no point did we use the children as pawns.
The collective agreement between the company and its workers expired in August of 2025.
There were a few other issues that were brought up during negotiations. The employer had agreed that they would try and fix those. So right now it is the wage that's a huge issue for these members. Like I said, $18.11 just isn't cutting it, and even going up that extra $2 isn't going to cut it for them.
We're not a bunch of greedy bus drivers here. We're just severely underfunded.
The Near North District School Board has posted to social media informing families they will be responsible for making alternative arrangements for their children to travel to and from school. The NPSSTS continues to work on contingency plans for alternate service delivery. Both the Union and Alouette bus lines say they remain open for discussion and hope to reach a new agreement soon. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sturgeon Falls.
2 people are facing charges in connection to a break and enter in North Bay. According to police, officers caught 2 people leaving the home in the 800 block of Worthington Street East Friday morning. As they arrived, a search of the suspects revealed one of them was carrying an edged weapon. A spike in rear-end collisions, 85 in 92 days, has North Bay Police doing an enforcement blitz across the city. According to police, officers will be targeting tailgating, as following too closely is a leading cause of preventable collisions. They'll be looking at several factors, including road conditions and visibility, speed and vehicle condition, when determining what is too close. Following too closely is a Highway Traffic Act violation and carries a $110 to $150 fine along with demerit points. The City of North Bay, with the help of the federal government, is kickstarting a project aimed at businesses' diversification in the defense sector. CTV's Eric Tashner has more.
We can manufacture here in Canada.
Nipissing-Temiskaming MP Pauline Rochefort says rapidly the world is changing, with international rules-based order fading. Now more than ever, it's critical to focus on what we can control to protect Canada's sovereignty.
The strategy is about ourselves building 70% of Canadian companies getting contracts to build what we need from a military perspective here in Canada.
So the government is chipping in over $470,000 for the City of North Bay to launch a multi-year pilot project to assist businesses diversify and expand while exploring the defense industry.
There's been a number of manufacturing industries that have contacted the city, certainly saying, how do we get involved?
In Canada's industrial defense strategy, it's identified there are several areas that are considered to be critical to the country's sovereignty.
Ammunition, the Arctic defense, when it comes to, for example, our naval capacity. 22 Wing is very involved in the over-the-horizon radar system.
North Bay will play host to the Northern Ontario Road to Defense Conference, which is aimed at supporting businesses.
Will spark some, entrepreneurial spirit to say, how can I get involved in this and help the defense sector? So we're hearing about it.
The non-repayable funds will also be used to host workshops on topics such as certifications required for bids, how to prepare for bids for the defense industry, and how to effectively pitch to prime contractors.
We're going to be buying airplanes, and so there's going to be a lot of various components that are going to be added to the assets of the military.
The money is part of Canada's $6.6 billion Buy Canadian plan to supply the military and grow the nation's domestic defense industry. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Kirkland Lake has passed its first strong mayor budget, and it means a 5.6% property tax increase for residents. It's all part of an infrastructure push that Kirkland Lake has been recently undergoing to close a gap the town is facing. This year, they plan on spending over $4 million to realign water mains. The second is a connecting link project to redo an intersection in the downtown core. Mayor Stacey White is hopeful this will trigger growth.
And we want to make sure that we are ready for the future, because the future is coming to Kirkland Lake now. We are doing major expansions and seeing growth in our community. And we know that with Upper Beaver mine expansion, we're going to see about a 25% increase to our population.
White adds discussion around flood mitigation has already begun. Given a recent state of emergency, she believes they will be ready ahead of the spring thaw. Calls continue for the provincial government to scrap their announced changes to the Ontario Student Assistance Program. Critics say the shift from grants to loans will leave many drowning in debt. CTV's Siobhan Morris has the details.
Despite more than a week of anger and anxiety over changes to OSAP, there's no sign of thaw on the policy that will dramatically cut the money given to students in grants. The shift is to more repayable loans.
You have to be held accountable when you take tax dollars. It's not a freebie anymore. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Flanked by college and university students, the opposition leader is demanding a reversal from the premier.
He is going to literally leave these students and students across this province struggling with debt for decades.
Students admit they're thinking of dropping out, unable to take on tens of thousands of dollars of debt, and graduating into a jobs market that could challenge their ability to pay it back.
If we make education less accessible, we only weaken our future workforce.
It is the future Doug Ford believes prospective students should be thinking of.
When you take a course, you have to look at in-demand jobs, something that we can drive our economy.
He mentions careers in the trades, manufacturing, nuclear energy, and healthcare. Adese Mbalaja dreams of working in public health.
To break into the workforce, despite these high demand and that language is really difficult. And so a master's program is something I and so many students want to pursue, but we don't know what that looks like financially for us.
If she can't go forward with the kind of expertise the province needs,
I think it shows that this government is fundamentally, whether willfully or unintentionally, out of touch.
Christian Turner's been counting on OSAP grants for his education. He lost both his parents 2.5 years ago. The shift to loans?
It's a punishment for being poor. It is a punishment for those who have gone through extreme hardship and cannot fight for themselves.
The government's position is that the OSAP setup has become unsustainable. The NDP argues that could be fixed with a rebalancing of priorities so students aren't left under mountains of debt. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
New tonight, Sault Ste. Marie City Council has officially cleared the way for a local business to expand its reach across the province. The approval allows PUC to form 2 new companies to manage a massive transmission project in southern Ontario. Officials say while the wires are being strung down south, the high-level technical and financial jobs will stay in the Soo. It's estimated it would lead to 6 to 8 positions locally.
To focus our growth on things that are provincially mandated, things like that are funded through the ISO, things that are funded by provincial agencies, to create revenue back into the Soo, where we can create distributions back to the city that the city can then use for important things in the community. So what this allows us to do is to increase the net benefit back to the community and not do it on the backs of the community.
Brewer says the project aims to modernize the province's aging grid while delivering annual returns back to the city. Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, we'll have your full weather forecast. But for now, a look at the current conditions around the region. And we do have a special weather statement in effect for Sault Ste. Marie for the snow that we're expected to see throughout the night, and a cold warning in effect as well. And that's very apparent as we look -24 in Chapleau, -22 in Temiskaming Shores. Your full forecast coming up next.
Sorry to say this to, kick off your late night Monday evening. We've got some snow in the forecast. We'll take a look at the numbers coming up very shortly. But here is a system that is about to approach Northeastern Ontario. And with the exception of Sault Ste. Marie, a lot of this snow will happen across the Northeast tomorrow evening. So we'll keep an eye on that. The numbers coming up with our 7-day forecast and a lot more. Here we go. Sudbury Nickel Belt. 5 to 10 centimeters, and of course more at night, another 5 at night. Minus 13 your high tomorrow. Wednesday, chance of flurries. Thursday, chance of flurries. More of the same Friday and Saturday. But have a look. 1 degree on Friday to start off the weekend. Then you go to -6 and -12. Sunny skies on Sunday. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, 5 to 10 centimeters during the day, 5 more centimeters at night, -6 the high for tomorrow. Wednesday, chance of flurries, more of the same on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we've got colder weather, then warmer weather on Friday at +1, -7 and -10, sun and cloud come Sunday. Now the story in Timmins Cochrane campus, casing 2 to 4 centimeters at night. That's tomorrow night, -15 your daytime high. Chance of flurries Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And just like Sudbury and Sault Ste. Marie, +1 on Friday. So it will warm up. Then it gets cold again just in time for Saturday and Sunday, -11 and -14 with the sunshine. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, snow tomorrow, 5 centimeters predominantly at night, -12 your high for the day. Chance of flurries Wednesday, more of the same Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 0 your daytime high come Friday. That even beats, well, you know, it's pretty close to +1 in that area. So it does warm up. Then it cools off again, -6 and -13 Saturday and Sunday. So right across the board, we've got sunshine come Sunday, but some colder temperatures across Northeastern Ontario. North Bay, West Nipissing, snow tomorrow night, 5 centimeters, -9. Chance of flurries Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And again, +1 on Friday to start off the weekend. Even the overnight low, -3. Then it gets colder, -3 and -12 come Sunday with loads of sunshine. So, Amanda, are you ready for this? We'll get rid of this nasty, colder weather. It'll start to perk up a bit just in time for Friday. Then, well, it gets cold again, but we will have some sunshine. So once we get rid of the snow, I think we'll be better off. Back to you.
I agree with that. Thanks for that, Rick. Late this afternoon, city officials in Elliot Lake announced its community pool will once again be reopening in March. The pool had just undergone massive renovations when it was suddenly closed roughly 6 months later after staff discovered a large quantity of acid in one of the mechanical rooms last summer. Officials once again met in October to discuss next steps along with staff and insurance adjusters. The repairs have since been completed, and Elliot Lake says its pool will reopen March 9th. Hundreds rallied in Toronto ahead of the 4th anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. CTV's Alison Hurst reports.
As hundreds mark 4 years since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Maria Shapilova clutches a photo of volunteer Marina Vorontsova, who was killed in the war after joining the armed forces in 2025.
She was a medic. She was a mother. What she said, she always said, I am where I must be, where I should be. This is my country and I will fight for it.
Shapilova is from Kharkiv. Her parents are still there and her brother has been fighting for years in the war.
I want to tell to the world and to Canada, who supports us very much and we appreciate it, is that Ukraine is not going to give up. We are going to stand strong.
4 years ago, Ukraine was only expected to be able to hold off the Russians for a few days, and still just overnight, the onslaught of attacks continue.
I was there, I saw it. It's so different than here. It's so depressive, and yeah, it's another world.
Without the support here, Ukraine cannot survive. Ukraine relies on support from people from all over the world.
Many find comfort in coming together, showing strength and support for those still fighting, while remembering everyone who gave their lives.
The fight in Ukraine is to hold off Russia, not only from Ukraine, but hold them off from attacking other countries in Europe. Should Ukraine fail, others will fail. It'll cost Canadians a lot more later on if we don't stop Russia right now.
Messages of ongoing support were shared from all levels of government.
Since this war began, we have donated 17 vehicles and 8 generators to our sister city, Kiev.
We've welcomed over 150,000 Ukrainian refugees, and I welcome more, as many as we can take. We will welcome them with open arms.
Conservatives called on the government, which agreed to hand over 40,000 CRV-7 missiles, which the Ukrainian military has now put into use fighting against Putin.
The official anniversary of the full-scale invasion is Tuesday. Alison Hurst, CTV News.
A controversial drug to slow the progression of Alzheimer's has hit a roadblock in Canada. CTV's Pauline Chan has reaction to the decision.
Lecanemab, also known as Leqembi, is already being used in dozens of countries, including the U.S. It was approved last fall by Health Canada for use in early-stage patients, but the next step on the road to access has hit a roadblock. In a draft, Canada's drug agency is recommending lecanemab not be covered by provincial drug plans.
While there's variability among physicians and experts, I have to say I wasn't satisfied. I think that the rejection of this drug sort of closes the door on what would be really a first step.
Dr. Howard Chertko is a senior scientist at Baycrest Health Sciences.
There have been a couple of medications released in the United States and around the world that get rid of amyloid. Amyloid is a protein that accumulates in the brain, and we see this almost always in people with Alzheimer's disease. Getting rid of the amyloid doesn't cure the disease, but seems to slow down the disease, at least in some patients.
And he admits in his own research, some patients improve, some don't. The drug agency decision indicates that while the medication can be used in Canada, it's seeking more definitive evidence before Leqembi is paid for by provincial drug formularies.
They sort of defined what they accepted as being clinically meaningful based on statistics and statistical numbers, rather than looking at individual responses of patients.
Lecanemab costs around $30,000 US per year. It's given by injection and patients must be closely monitored. Quebec's drug agency counterpart has also rejected coverage. Canada's drug agency will still be receiving feedback until March 5th, when its final decision will be made. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
With the 2026 Winter Games at a close, athletes are heading home, including Sault Ste. Marie's own Brad Jacobs. The Sault's favorite skip is bringing Olympic gold back to the city for the second time in his storied career. But the podium finish didn't come without a brush with disaster, specifically a controversial burnstone violation that nearly changed the game. Speaking with CTV News Channel earlier this evening, Jacobs reflected on that infamous touch and the momentum shift that followed.
In the end, I think that they got what they deserved and we got what we deserved. You know, we just went about our business the rest of the week, tried to continue to make shots and curl like we always have. And we were able to come out as champions. I think the curling gods were actually on our side from that moment on.
And during tonight's council meeting, Sault Mayor Matthew Shoemaker confirmed the city is already in the early stages of planning a community celebration for Jacobs. Still ahead tonight on CTV News. From newsrooms to the next generation, Sudbury's Girl Guides get a masterclass in storytelling. Details next. Finally for us tonight, over the weekend, Girl Guides in Sudbury were learning about some of the different careers they could pursue. We get more from CTV's Angela Gemmel. How about everybody find Timmins?
CTV was one of more than a dozen stations at a guiding event in Sudbury. February 22nd is Thinking Day, marked globally to celebrate the girl guiding and Girl Scouting movement.
Every year we do something to celebrate Thinking Day and recognize Thinking Day, but this year, because it's the 100-year anniversary, it's a little bit of a bigger celebration year. From NOSM to Sudbury.com to CTV to the Women's Center to the Nickel Refillery, and basically it was all females in our community who can inspire the youth and basically show them what they can be and what they can do as they grow up.
When we're doing the weather on TV, we have a television screen that's usually like right in front there. So we can...
At the CTV stop, groups got to try out the green screen normally used for weather reports, including why we don't wear green clothing. They also learned what a video journalist does, including asking each other questions.
What's your favorite part about being a Girl Guide? My favorite part about being a Girl Guide is that we get to do a lot of activities and get to go on really cool adventures.
What do you like being Amber? Because we get to do fun things.
Okay. What do you like about being an Amber?
That we get to have fun. What do you like being a Girl Guide? Because it's fun.
When you were doing this back and forth, that was perfect. Yeah, you came back to your own so we could hear your voice when you asked the question. That was good.
Evelyn Bissell, CTV News Sudbury. Jamie the Necker, CTV News Sudbury. Claire Armstrong, CTV Sudbury. Solene Bouchard,
CTV News.
CTV News
Sudbury.
Sudbury.
About 100 young girls ages 5 to 18 took part in the Thinking Day event in Sudbury, and we definitely saw some journalists in the making. Hoping I'm not out of a job. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Had a great time being a part of that. Some talented young ladies right there. That takes us to the end of our newscast this Monday night. Thanks for watching. Good night.